Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this public meeting of the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York. We have one item to consider. I will read the item and then turn to the Chancellor for the beginning of an explanation, and he will call on his colleagues to explain it further. Resolved that the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York authorize the General Counsel to execute a purchase and sale agreement along with any associated agreements to effect the sale of the property located at 535 East 88th Street, a.k.a. 20 East End Avenue, New York, New York. The transaction documents shall be subject to approval as to form by the Office of the General Counsel. Explanation. In connection with the university's plans to relocate the offices of the central headquarters to 205 East 42nd Street, the property at 435 East 80th Street will be sold. The university will engage a real estate brokerage firm to coordinate the marketing and sale of the property. After appropriate review and evaluation of all proposals, the university will enter into contract for sale for the property with the highest bona fide offerer. Proceeds from the sale will be used to offset occupancy costs at 205 East 42nd Street for a 5-year period and to purchase state-of-the-art core scientific equipment for use by research scientists throughout CUNY at the Advanced Science Research Center located on the campus of City College. Mr. Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just give you some background. For several years now, we have been thinking about moving the central office because, quite frankly, this building has never suited the needs of this administration or prior administrations. It's a very difficult place to get to. I lament the fact that so many of our young people that work in this building take 2 hours to get here, and it's very, very difficult. There's no subway nearby, so many of our staff are taking subways, two buses, and it really doesn't work.
It's all his fault.
Secondly, this will give us an opportunity to consolidate a lot of space that we have presently all over the city and consolidate in one particular area. We won't be able to offset all of our space by any means, but it'll certainly give us more space to bring in operating units that now are dispersed around the city. Lastly, it will free up, and we've waited for the market to change, and we really believe the market has changed rather handsomely, and we believe that this is maybe not an optimal time, but certainly relative to the past few years, this is a much more robust time to look for a suitor for this building, free up some cash that we desperately need to capitalize the ASRC with very expensive equipment that we don't really have the money to do right now. And that building is going up, and we are placed in a bind now because we need to reach out and bring in some of the very prominent scientists that we're going to need to work in that building and graduate students, and it's going to be hard to do that without providing the necessary capital expenditures for equipment and very sophisticated instrumentation. So for those basic reasons, we think this is a smart thing to do. We're optimistic that the new facility at 205 East 42nd Street will solve our transportation problems, give us the space that we're going to need to consolidate and free up cash to allocate for other purposes. And with that, I'll turn it over to the two people who have really worked on this transaction, actually a couple of transactions, Rick Schaefer, our general counsel, and Iris Wanschel, our vice chancellor for facilities design and construction. So I don't know, do you want to start, Iris?
Yes, thank you, Chancellor. As the Chancellor noted, we have outgrown this building. We have physically outgrown it, and I guess technology-wise, we have outgrown this building. And it has become very clear that we need to relocate our space. The other thing is that this building itself is not being used for its highest and best use. It's a piece of property on East End Avenue, which is surrounded by all residential properties, and its highest and best use is actually residential. And it turns out that there are air rights associated with this building, which would allow whoever bought this building to probably build a 14-story apartment complex. So we have been working with the firm of Julian Studley. They are one of the brokers that we have on contract to CUNY. If the committee will remember, we divided up the city. We had a number of brokers working with us in various parts of the city. Julian Studley not only has 42nd Street, but they also have 80th Street. So anything north of 42nd is Julian Studley's territory. So they worked with us to be able to find this new lease on 42nd Street. It is a building that was originally occupied by Pfizer. Pfizer has vacated. This was the portion of their operation that they moved to New Jersey. It's a pre-war building, but one that offers us the right amount of space to be able to, as the Chancellor said, not only relocate the folks from here, but from other locations around the city. What Julian Studley will do is they will put together an offering memorandum. We will publicly advertise the sale of this building, and we believe more than 1,000 companies and people will get notification that this building is for sale. We've already done one appraisal on the building, and we are in the process of doing a second appraisal. We believe that we will get a substantial amount of money to not only cover the rent, but as the Chancellor noted, to be able to borrow money for the equipment that we need at the ASRC complex. And we hope to move into the new building by next summer. And I say hope only because one never knows with these type of projects. I will say, though, that we have been in an active dialogue with both the Controller's office and the AG's office. Both of them need to approve the new lease at 42nd Street, so we're hopeful that there won't be any barrier there in terms of moving forward.
Rick, do you have anything that you want to add?
I have nothing to add.
I have a couple of questions. Will your office, Iris, be relocated to 42nd Street?
You mean the 57th Street office?
Yeah.
The answer is no. There is not enough room to relocate 41st Street and 57th Street. Those functions will stay where they are.
So who will be in the new HQ that is not at 80th Street today?
We have a pretty prominent function in the Grace Building on 42nd Street. We have a number of tens of thousands of square feet, and we will be relocating those folks from the Grace Building to this building on 42nd Street.
And how many square feet, roughly, do you anticipate having at 42nd Street?
170,000 square feet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I might point out, one of the, I think the good outcomes will be that we will be able to create the type of space and that people need to work in this modern era. But in addition, we'll be able to have standards so that, you know, every person who has a certain title will have the same type of office, regardless of what floor they're on.
And will we occupy the entire building at 205?
No, we will not.
I can't resist asking about the appraisal. Did it include the air rights, or
It did include the air rights.
is it a confidential number, or are you free
I
to
would
let?
prefer not to publicly talk about it until
All
we
right.
get, we're
I
working
know
on
I
a second
understand the
appraisal.
reasons.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much. Are there questions for the Chancellor or his colleagues? All right. I'm happy to move the resolution. May I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. I believe that is the only order of business to come before the Executive Committee. We will inform the full board of this action at our next meeting, as we always do. Thank you for taking the time to come to this special meeting, which is adjourned.